Step back from the stepping back itself completely, child. Discard the discarding itself is the same as essence. In this way, there will be purification of the emptiness. To be fixated with the mind is going to be troubling on and on, circling much more. Will be much more of knowing and seeing as usual. With feeling, still a lot of troubling. A lot more, adding more on and on. It's impossible to be fixated to anything at all. Discard from the discarding itself simultaneously. Disregard from disregarding itself simultaneously. This is not for the specificity. This is universal. This is the essence of the great compassion. It is universal thing. It is not for the extinction within itself, emptiness within itself for the sake of itself. It's not like that. This is universal matter. Step back from the non-attachment itself without grasping it completely. In this way, it will have nothing to do with the body and the mind. It will be beyond the mind. However, this is beyond the beyond itself. It is not only about beyond the mind or beyond seeing and knowing. It is beyond the beyond itself. But there are effects for everything. Whatever that is beyond, it has the effects for the overall. The essence itself truly is beyond the beyond itself. There is no need to have any concern or having to be afraid to lose any projecting that overlay on top of knowing and seeing or anything. Don't have any burdens with any projecting of the mind or any expectations. Otherwise, there is no giving up or renunciation. Not giving up being realms of existence within the mind, within Dhamma. Realms within the gates of perceptions, within the objects of the perceptions. All the holding on is the realms of existence. This is like not giving up being realms of existence, child. Therefore, don't be afraid to lose all the projecting that overlaying the looking, seeing and knowing and the gates of perceptions. Otherwise, this cannot be used for purifying samsara. Because the knower is the samsara in itself, the seer also samsara in itself. So long as there is a lot of the projecting that overlaying knowing and seeing, it's impossible to purify samsara. How can there be beyond knower and seer? Because it's stuck with just the projecting. Therefore, just step back. Disengaging itself. This is not only about disengaging. Step back furthermore without grasping for the non-attachment itself. Give no significance to the non-attachment itself. Let's not be stuck with just non-attachment within being specific to extinct within itself for the sake of itself. Otherwise, there is no saying, no grasping for the non-grasping itself. This is not about not wanting anything. In this way, there will be purification of the extinction and emptiness simultaneously within and without. It is simultaneous. What it is? What is this simultaneous enlightenment? It is cutting and helping through cutting is simultaneous. Cutting the deluded knowing and helping through cutting deluded knowing is simultaneous. Ending and helping through ending is simultaneous. How can it be simultaneous? If there is the stuckness within the vows of the noble ones, of the worldlings, of the arahants, aiming for extinction, aiming for ending, aiming for liberation. This is all about vows. What is the vows of the worldlings? It is the straying desire that is endless. This has nothing to do with the vows of the Buddhas and the Mahabarami in helping through ending for samsara, because this is not the vows that take in themselves. Aiming towards ending is the vows that grasping in itself. Therefore, it becomes ending that is being specific for oneself. It's impossible to help purify samsara because one is stuck within the vows. The vows of the Maha Bodhisattvas, they are the vows that giving up in themselves, because it's helping through ending for samsara. It's not for the sake of the vows. Therefore, there is no specific in there. So listen thoroughly. Step back from the non-attachment itself. No grasping for the non-grasping itself. This will purify all about being specific within extinction, ending for the sake of ending. This is the karmic habits of the delusive attachments. This will be purified totally. Then there will be automatic, simultaneous in ending and helping through ending. Cutting and helping through cutting is simultaneous without steps. When there is before or after, because there is grasping mind that overlaying, there is the vows that is overlaying. It becomes the work that is delayed, is not spontaneous. Ending before and then helping through ending afterwards, it becomes something that is delayed, is not spontaneous. Because of the grasping mind only that creates steps, not spontaneous. There is before, there is after. Therefore, it's not instantaneous because of the grasping mind only, creating the delay at all times. Therefore, the habit of aiming the ending within the ending for oneself is the hindrance, is the obstructions in blessing, is the hindrance and obstructions for the great compassion itself, being specific. Therefore, it's impossible to share the great compassion. Being specific is still narrow. How can it be extensive incalculably? Because it's being stuck within being specific. Therefore, the non-attachment cannot be for the sake of itself. The extinction cannot be for the sake of itself. That which is unbound. How can there be specific only for the extinction? That which is boundless. That which is incalculably. How can it be for the sake of the extinction or emptiness? Therefore, be thorough. This has nothing to do with uninvolved. Step back from the uninvolved itself, uninvolved within the uninvolved itself. Instead, discard the discarding itself instead. It cannot be specific with discarding alone. It's impossible. Discard the discarding itself instead. Then it will be balanced with the essence of the boundlessness, all the same, which is called simultaneous enlightenment and help through the enlightenment. Ending and the helping through ending is simultaneous. Extinction and help purify through the extinction is simultaneous. Therefore, stepping back from the non-attachment itself has to be proceeded simultaneously with the samsara. Listen well. Then there is no need to be wasting time to learn about the great compassion again. Uninvolved within the uninvolved itself proceeded simultaneously with everything. Listen well. So we don't have to begin to share the great compassion again, because there will be purification that is simultaneous, helping through unwinding and releasing simultaneously, brightening all together simultaneously. This is not the extinction for the sake of itself, not being specific. It has to be proceeding simultaneously with everything. In this way, there is no need to desire for Buddhahood or Arahanthood. That is a delusion with desire. Proceeding through the essence, simultaneously shared together with samsara forever and ever. There is no need to have steps in whatever way, whatever behind or in front that is being stuck with just projecting minds with the vows for attainment. Nibbana and extinction has to be always shared simultaneously for samsara. That one is stuck with just the expectations for Nibbana, for Buddhahood, that is being stuck with the vows. Even right in front of the Buddhas, there should have been the conclusion through Nirodha and Nibbana already. And be the same essence, conclude for samsara altogether, but there is stuck within the vows and desire for Buddhahood. Eventually, instead of having the same essence with the Buddha, to help through the conclusion, through Nirodha and Nibbana, it becomes steps instead, becoming waiting for whatever instead of simultaneous purification through the extinction and the emptiness. There is just the expectation for the future instead. Eventually, such a vow becomes an obstruction for the present great compassion. Otherwise, samsara is always delayed, because there is always steps expecting for the future. If it's the same essence of the great compassion, which is shared simultaneously altogether with everything, it has to be simultaneous. Then it will be balanced with the true essence of the great compassion. Otherwise, wise said, everything is emptiness. Emptiness is everything. Why said that? This is not to separate the emptiness from anything. Everything is the emptiness. This is not about emptying out of anything. Why being obsessed with that? Such an idea is become a hindrance, is obstructing the purification for samsara right away, is obstructing the essence of the great compassion instantly. This is because of the obsession with trying to liberate from something that is obstructing the essence of the great compassion right there and then. Not attached to the non-attachment itself, child. This is not about not attached to anything. Otherwise, you have to be in accordance with the essence of the great compassion again. Because being specific with just not attaching, being stuck with such an idea, is being stuck and being fixated in such extent, not attached to the non-attachment itself, then it will be the purification that is boundless for samsara. Every sentence is the sentence of the great compassion without steps, not before nor after. When there is steps, because there is the karmic habits that is used, there is always being specific within the extinction, within the non-attachment. The habits of the expectation is still dominating. Disengage from disengaging itself, not attached to the non-attachment itself. Let's not aim towards not attached to anything or disengage from anything. Let go of the letting go itself instead of letting go of something or aiming to let go of something. In this way, there is no delusion to separate Nibbana from samsara or vimutti from samsara or nirodha from all things. The gates of perceptions still functions as an ambassador for purifying through the extinction and the emptiness. Let's proceed simultaneously. The enlightenment and the blessing is simultaneous. Keep the eyes and ears open up, but step back from the stepping back itself. Let go of the letting go itself. Conclude within the conclusion itself like this constantly. If you are fixated with knowing and seeing and the mind, there's troubling right there. Samsara of knower is a lot. The karmic difficulties of the knowing is a lot. Within seeing is also a lot. If to be fixated with the mind, emotions, seeing and knowing, projecting, overlaying, troubling is right there instantly. Just like floating within the oceans right there and then. Step back from the stepping back itself. Disengage from disengaging itself. Uninvolved within the uninvolved itself. Keep the eyes and ears, gates of perceptions opening as usual. There will be simultaneous purification of the extinction. Any significance within the minds, it's not already a tiny bit, it's a lot. It will just flowing like dominoes, like endlessly. Various minds, this is variations of the mind, is called. It will just passing on like a domino, continuously. Once the mind is setting for a projection, there is an obstruction right away for the purification of the extinction and ending for samsara. Instantly, it turns into samsara in itself right away. Discard the discarding itself. The non-attachment doesn't grasp itself. Step back from itself. This is beyond the beyond, actually. This is not just beyond something. It is the beyond itself, that which is unbound. Later on, all the karmic difficulties of the concerns will be disappeared. All the trivial things will be purified and disappeared all by itself. All the projecting mind is the hindrances, is an obstruction, child. Is blocking right away. Step back from the stepping back itself, discard the discarding itself will purify all the projection, obligations and expectations. It is the karmic intentions which is blocking, karmic blocks. Projection, obligation, expectations are the intentions of karma, which is blocking the blessing. Therefore, it's impossible to project on anything or expecting anything, because it will turn into whatsoever with karma and karmic cycles that is endless. Step back from the non-attachment itself. Disengage even from disengaging itself. Step back from the non-attachment itself. And let's proceed simultaneously with the whole samsara thoroughly.
ทุกสิ่งทุกอย่างดังกล่าวมาถ้ามันเป็นกรรมประเภทไหนก็ตามดีดังที่กล่าวมาเนี่ยไม่ว่าจะกรรมในเรื่องของนิวรณ์กรรมในเรื่องของปณิธานทุกประเภทกรรมในเรื่องของจึงจองต้องตั้งกรรมในเรื่องของเจตนากรรมที่มันซ้อนจนกลายเป็นทุกขวิบากทั้งหลายก็ตามทีเรียกว่าวิบากในทุกนั่นเองจะมากี่ยุคกี่สมัยก็ตามทีมากี่พุทธันดรก็ตามมากี่พุทธกัปก็ตามทีนะของทุกๆกรณีกรรมลูกทุกสิ่งทุกอย่างอโหสิอโหสิอโหสิ
Regarding all types of karma mentioned earlier, whether it is the karma in regards to the hindrances, all types of vows, or in regards to mental projections, obligations, or expectations, including the overlaying karmic intentions, which turns into karmic difficulties in the suffering, no matter how long it has been, throughout periods of time, across Buddha eras, or eons of Buddha time, may all cases of karma be released. Ahosi, ahosi, ahosi.